Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope everyone is well and good. Now, especially the Muslim children and the Muslim mothers and fathers should get a copy of this particular book, Evolution's Final Days, The Mounting Evidence Disproving the Theory of Evolution. And this is because, you see, they teach our children, they teach our Muslim children in school that basically they use evolution, which is illogical, to disprove or undermine Islam, which is incorrect. So this book is important for all Muslims to read. And there are similar books out there, but this book is easy to read and it's not very long, and it has like I said, it's not very long. It's about 72 pages, roughly about 70 pages long, and easy to read, and also to understand that evolution is illogical and evolution is not true. And for more further information, you can look into Stephen Meyer's book, Signature in the Cell and Darwin's Doubt. And of course, you can visit the YouTube channel Sabur Ahmed Darwinian Delusions, where Sabur Ahmed, a Muslim brother, speaks about that the Darwinian theory of evolution is full of assumptions, based on assumptions, and within a probabilistic framework. For example, homology is an assumption, and Darwinian theory is based upon homology. And I say again, homology is an assumption. So for more details, you can visit Darwinian Delusions, Sabur Ahmed Darwinian Delusions channel. This video needs to be shared by all the Muslims, and of course the non-Muslims needs to wake up that Darwinian theory of evolution is based upon assumptions within a probabilistic framework, and it is very speculative. Like I said, homology is an assumption, and so Darwinian theory is based upon homology, and so forth. So I will read part 5 of this book, and part 5, the title is Irreducible Complexity. So Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most distinguished scientists in history, once said that the physical laws he had uncovered revealed the mechanical perfection of the workings of the universe to be akin to a watch wherein the watchmaker is God. This is page 29 of this book, Evolution's Final Days, The Mounting Evidence Disproving the Theory of Evolution, by John Morrison. Page 29, part 5, Irreducible Complexity. Sir Isaac Newton, one of the most distinguished scientists in history, once said that the physical laws he had uncovered revealed the mechanical perfection of the workings of the universe to be akin to a watch wherein the watchmaker is God. This analogy was brought into the mainstream when scientist William Paley published a book detailing it in 1802. The argument states that you could compare a watch to life forms here on Earth. When you look at a watch, it has many different moving parts and components. If you were to be walking around a park and found a watch on the ground, you could clearly tell that it was built by someone. If you were argue that it was always there and formed naturally over millions of years, others would call you insane, mad. The watch clearly came from a designer. Someone made the watch. Why is it any different with human life? Humans, as well as the many other life forms on Earth, have complex, intricate systems. These intricate systems point to some type of designer, and to argue they formed naturally over many years is as crazy as saying a watch could do the same. Not only this, the watch is made up of many different parts, some of which would be obsolete without the others. The motor wouldn't turn without the battery, the watch hand wouldn't turn without the motor, etc. This is known as something called irreducible complexity, meaning that without all the parts of the system combined as one, the system becomes useless. Irreducible complexity is highlighted in many biological organisms here on Earth. The main premise behind irreducible complexity is if something is taken out of the system fails to continue working. This would mean the system could not have been built in successive modifications, as everything is needed at once in order to make it function properly. It's all or nothing. Either the everything is there and the system works, or something is missing and it doesn't. There is no in between. Charles Darwin is quoted saying in his book On the Origin of Species, "If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down." This means that, based on what the founder of evolution himself stated, if something existed here on Earth which could not be explained by successive modifications over time, it would disprove the theory of evolution. And based on what we're about to go over, this would mean the theory has been disproven. While there are many examples of irreducible complexity in the biochemistry of humans, I will only be touching on just a few examples in this book. Many times in evolutionary biology, these hard-to-cover topics are just briefly touched on. When questioned, poor explanations are given on how they formed, but once you dig a little deeper, the sheer engineering marvel of the biochemistry and complexity of the structures and processes make little sense from an evolutionary standpoint. Just like the watch, without all the parts coming together as one, each part by itself becomes meaningless. And not only this, let's say hypothetically all the parts were there and ready to be used. They would have to come together perfectly to form a working structure. And as we learned from our pile of bricks in part 4, this is impossible based on our universe's second law of thermodynamics. So as you have heard, which I have just read from page 29 to page 32, the top part of 32, this book, Evolution's Final Days, The Mounting Evidence Disproving the Theory of Evolution by John Morrison, is a good book to read and understand. And like I said, there are other books in regards to disproving evolution. Stephen Meyer does a great job with his books, Signature in the Cell and Darwin's Doubt. And also Sabur Ahmed, in his videos, in his channel Sabur Ahmed Darwinian Delusions, he explains in detail regarding, for example, orphan genes they did not mention about, and also regarding similarities in the DNA. The data was fudged, tampered with, but we understand as Muslims similarities in the DNA is to do with compatibility with food. For example, 60% of banana's DNA matches with mine. That doesn't mean that my great-great-great-great-granddad was a banana. You see my point? What we need to understand is this, that the designer which is the Creator Allah, used similar ingredients so that the banana is edible to me. So I can eat the banana, I can eat the apple, I can eat the grape, I can eat the strawberry. You see my point? Because if the banana, the apple, the strawberry, were made up of substances, materials, elements which were not edible, made out of something completely different from my DNA, then what am I supposed to eat? Again, if I'm having chicken tikka, chicken has my DNA. If I'm having a halal cheeseburger, the beef in the cheeseburger, halal, has my DNA. It doesn't mean the cow is my great granddad. So what we have to understand is using our logic. Using our logic, meaning we have to be logical and rational all the time. It is a choice, because some people choose to be illogical, but Muslims have to be logical and rational all the time, because the Creator Allah says in the Quran, do they not think? Do they not reflect? I'm paraphrasing here, but so basically, look, long story short, Darwinian theory of evolution is based on assumptions within a probabilistic framework, and we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to use it to help us with Islam. No. Yeah, fair enough. We understand microevolution, meaning like the coronavirus or any other virus would become resistant over the years to antibiotics. That's fine, and therefore we can develop better antibiotics and better vaccines. So what I'm trying to say is science is a tool, and we don't need to be obsessed with science. Science is only a tool. As Isaac Newton said, gravity is a pulling force. Einstein came along, he said it's a pushing force, vice versa. The science, the paradigm shifts. The paradigms in science, therefore paradigm shifts keeps changing, keeps shifting, and that's what science is. If you just look into the history of the atom over in the last 150 years, a lot of theories and it keeps changing. If also, like Einstein said, the universe is a steady state, and then Edwin Hubble came along and said no, there's redshift. It's not. A universe within the limited multiverse had a beginning, and so all that. So please get this book. It's an easy book to read. Get it for your children. Get it for yourself. Muslims need to educate themselves regarding that the Darwinian, especially the Darwinian theory of evolution, is based upon assumptions within a probabilistic framework. Homology is an assumption. For more details, like I said, go to visit Sabur Ahmed Darwinian Delusions YouTube channel, and also if you want more information, Signature in the Cell and Darwin's Doubt, those particular books written by Stephen Meyer. Also, you could find Stephen Meyer on YouTube explaining to you that Darwinian theory of evolution is based upon assumptions, and it actually doesn't work. It is a scientific model, but it's a very weak model. And like I said, we don't need to be obsessed with the Darwinian theory of evolution, and we don't need to be obsessed with science. Let me give you an example. Scientific progress. In about 5 to 7 billion years, the sun will swallow up the earth and the entire solar system. In about 3 trillion years, the universe that we know of will lose all its energy and stop to function, cease to exist. And so, what scientific progress are we on about? The real rewards are with the Creator Allah, and as Muslims, we should all be worshipping the Creator Allah more, being grateful to the Creator Allah more, and of course inviting the non-Muslims to Islam. Thank you very much for listening. please share this video and all my videos with everyone. I am sure I have made mistakes making this video. I ask the Creator Allah to forgive me for my mistakes. All knowledge is from the Creator Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is the greatest.